No toasted marshmallow though. When you go to the brewery, you got a toasted marshmallow with that one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I don't know much about craft beer. Is this considered a craft beer?
That is Tire Shack, yeah.
Is
I support them. I made most of their tables, their tap handles, a bunch of that
Nice.
stuff for them, yeah.
So, do you know the company called Piccadilly Coffee?
Yeah, I do.
So, my friend and I, we made a company called Jacob Jones Industrial. And basically we just like welded metal and took wood slabs like this and just put them all together. And we were just kind of tinkering with it. We only made one table and like two benches, like a kitchen set.
Okay.
But it would have been really fun to like work with those companies because Piccadilly was actually like, hey, like I'm pretty close to them.
Okay.
And they're just like, hey, like we were interested in maybe some tables that you guys could make. And then we were thinking about it, but we never went farther with it. So we didn't go any farther, which sucks. But we were tinkering with it, but we were both really good with metal, but we weren't good with wood. Okay. So it was like we didn't really have time to learn, I guess.
Yeah, usually when I do tables with metal bases, I usually kind of outsource the bases. Yeah. My neighbor is pretty crazy, so he can do a lot of stuff. So I usually have a plan and bring it over there, and he chops it up and welds it. And
oh, nice.
I take it from there.
I thought you meant crazy in a bad way. Like
no, he can just like do everything.
Yeah. Jack of all trades.
Yeah, one of those guys.
Master of none but better than the master of one. Is that how it goes?
Something like that.
So who is Jon Black? What do you do?
Well, that's a pretty open-ended question, I guess, but I'm a father first and foremost. We have a 1-year-old, Winter. So he just turned 1 on the weekend, a little girl, so that's pretty time consuming. Right. Takes a lot of my time, and we love that. And I'm a husband, so my wife, Natalie, they're both in the house right now, chilling. My shop's just next to my house. Trade-wise, I'm a woodworker. I'm kind of call myself an abstract woodworker. So meaning like I don't always have a set plan, or I'm not like kind of following as other people's plans or ideas. Usually like this table we're sitting at right now, we're just kind of letting the wood dictate the project, right? It's like, well, let's get a badass piece of wood and make a table. Right. A customer came to me and they saw some of my tables down at Pomodori Pizza, a pizza shop on St. George Street here in Moncton. And they're just like, yeah, we want you to make a table. And then the first thing I said to them was, why don't we go see what we can locally have available for lumber? And this piece of walnut happened to be at the lumber store, which is 9 feet long and like 52 inches wide at some places. So it's a pretty huge piece of walnut. And they threw down the cheddar and bought the lumber. And now we're going to make a table out of it. So
that's so crazy.
Yeah.
So what kind of wood is this?
This is walnut.
So what kind of tree is a walnut?
Well, it's a walnut tree.
Okay.
But like walnut trees don't grow in like this area.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, I don't know. I've never seen a walnut tree. Okay, cool.
Like southern Ontario and more like in the States and stuff like that, where climates are a little warmer sometimes.
Yeah. And is this a harder wood, like a hardwood?
Yeah, it's super hard.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard. It's not the hardest wood. Like it's not quite as hard as maple, but it's pretty close.
Is maple the hardest wood?
No, maple's not the hardest wood ever, but it's one of like the harder Canadian woods for sure.
Okay. What's the hardest wood ever?
That's a good question. Maybe like ebony, or it'd be something tropical for sure. Like somewhere where like the climate's always like super humid and like the trees never have to suffer, like get ready to go through a winter or something. Like, yeah. It's always like 45 degrees. So anywhere like close to the equator, there's like dozens of trees that are like ridiculously dense and hard and expensive now too, but you get some really interesting stuff for sure in those regions. My
forestry knowledge is like not there. Like I don't know dictate which tree is what and like how many BTUs and like the density of them. Like I don't know anything.
So you went in the woods, could you tell the difference between like a birch and a spruce?
Yeah, definitely that. Yeah. But I don't know, like a popple versus a birch, like that's pretty similar.
Yeah, like, sometimes like those do get confusing because like even myself, I don't know trees as well as I know like the raw wood. But a poplar could look like a yellow birch for sure. Yeah. But
so, do you consider yourself an artist?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like in the last couple of years, especially, I've been making a lot of like pieces like we see over there, which is a lot of different like reclaimed skateboards. I started off using like the coloring concept, like kind of like grab that piece on the bandsaw right there. Like kind of like we'd laminate a lot of different layers of wood to get different skateboards together to get all the colors, like because there's kind of super rad colors they use when they're making skateboards. Started doing a lot of that, and then kind of transitioned into still doing a lot of that, but using a lot of the graphic too to make like big mosaics and wall hangings.
Yeah.
So I make a lot of those. But yeah, I definitely consider myself an artist in some form. It's just my material is not a paintbrush and paint.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, you can be an artist in any way. Like landscaping is a type of art, right?
Totally.
So
man. Like trail building, you name it.
Right. Exactly. Everything's an art at some point. Like this is an art.
Yeah.
I don't
100%.
know. Yeah. So but one thing I do like is that you implement these old skateboards into a lot of your work.
Yeah.
Like I thought that is it in everything? Do you try to implement it in everything? Like do you secretly put under like just a little strip in one spot?
Not always. I mean, I've been doing this like 15, actually probably longer than that. Like I started at the market when I was 20 and I'm turning 37 this year. But I've only been using the skateboard aspect probably like 5 or 6 years. And like, there's a lot of times I don't ever touch on it in projects. Like this walnut table is not going to see any part of skateboard in it. But, I do try to use it a bunch. Like been doing a lot of my cutting boards and smaller items like in the Christmas time, like coffee scoops and pens, and we did a bunch of ice cream scoops this year, and we try to like put a ton of the color if we have it available too. Can't always get tons of the skateboards, but lately we've been getting a lot of pro skates in Halifax and working class here in Moncton and a few other local skaters. So you never kind of know what you're going to get, but it's kind of like back to what I said, like the material kind of dictates what's going to go on. So
right. So these skate companies, do they just have like rode off boards all the time, or
it's more like the skate shops, right? Like people do skate at all, or like, you know, boards tend to wear out. Like either you snap them, which is not like best case scenario because then it's a snap piece of wood, but I can still utilize it. But you know, more so in Halifax, like bowl skaters wear out the nose and tails and they just replace their deck every year or 2, 3, or so they kind of go into the shop and get a new deck and leave the old one behind. So the shops kind of accumulate a bunch of them, and they really don't have anything to do with them.
I was going to bring you my old deck, but it got so waterlogged.
Yeah.
Like I think my dad left it outside one day when I was like younger and it just got swollen and lost all its color on the sides. So I was just like, well, I'm not going to bother. It might be a waste of your time.
Yeah. But I mean, skate decks aren't the only thing I reclaim either. Like I use a lot of like trusses and beams and stuff from like century old buildings where you get this like really beautiful, like unique spruce and different like old growth woods that don't even exist today.
Yep.
So like even all the tables at Tire Shack, they're all made out of like, it was fences and stuff inside of a barn that separated cows. So it's like, and different pieces from different churches that we kind of ripped apart, and like just had a lot of super cool character in the life of the wood, and we were able to use that in those tables, and same with the tables we did down at Epoch Chemistry. Like just the old wood is just like you can't find it like wood like that, so it kind of tells a story, and it's cool in its own aspect too. So.
There's a TV show where they like knock out old buildings, but they try to like keep some of the original wood and then implement it into the new home. But you're not going to find the same wood in like these big, like, I don't know, 6-inch by 6-inch logs.
You get even bigger than that. Like sometimes we get 12 by 12 beams and stuff we can use for table legs or mantles or stuff.
Crazy.
It's all hand hewn too, not all of it, but a lot of it hand hewn, so it would have been cut by and squared up with axes back in the day. So you know, it has those old character looks. It's not just like a sawmill cut in it or something. So it's it's definitely unique for sure, that aspect of it.
Is using like these skateboard materials, is this a trend? Because I've heard of it before, but maybe it's just a common thing, or maybe it's not a common thing.
I think it's like maybe trendy in a little bit of ways, like where it's more exposed on like Instagram and stuff like that, and you see people like doing it because I've seen a little popularity of it pick up since I've started doing it. There's another guy in New Brunswick, Steve Jones, who does it in St. John. I've seen some of his work. It's pretty nice. But yeah, it could be a trend for sure. I think like more so is like reclaiming things a trend. Yeah, that's what I'm more so than the skateboard aspect. Like I'd say, you know, using old materials for anything is a trend right now. Like I just seen people making super dope like 5-panel hats out of like any old like coats and stuff they find, and they're going for like $300.
Right.
So it's like
just slap on some fabric and
yeah,
you're good to go.
It's like, but he gets a North Face coat at Frenchie's and makes a 5-panel hat. And
right.
So, but yeah, I think reclaiming stuff in general is a trend. Yeah, I don't know if it's going away or what, but
I don't know.
It's in right now for sure.
And I think it's great. I mean, people are getting into like vintage clothing. That's another form of I don't know. What's the word? Reusing. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's great. I think we got to take everything we've created and just try to like implement it in our lives now if we can. Yeah. So we can't steal so much from Earth.
Yeah, exactly.
But this, oh man, I'm amazed by this piece of wood. This is thick.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
It's massive.
Like, yeah.
How'd you get it in here? Did you did it just take 2 boys?
Yeah, well, I called up one of my best friends who's like 6'7", 275, and he's usually around to help me move a few things. So
he is the lumberjack. He's the one that chopped down this tree.
Yeah. No, so yeah, we put it in the truck with a forklift and just slid it in here. But last year I did two of these tables that were 13.5 feet long. And they wanted a 27-foot table, but I was like, well, how am I going to get a 27-foot table in the basement? Right. And they were like, well, that's a good question. So we did 2 13.5-foot tables, and that took a crew to move around. Yeah. Those were big.
So what kind of tools are you using for your type of work? Like, I mean, it might be just some basic woodworking tools that like most people would use. I don't know, but is there anything like specific that you're using that isn't common? Or
yeah, there's a few things like if you just look around in the shop that are probably a little bit uncommon. One thing is like my sander. Like I used to use like just the DeWalt sander from like Home Depot
like
or whatever.
Like the disc?
Yeah. And this is like just much more of an upgrade, like better motors and stuff, and everything's all hooked up to vacuums, and the sandpaper lasts 10 times longer, and it's just more of a high-end sander because I sand stuff for a long time sometimes. Yeah. So, and then like I got my bandsaw and industrial table saw and jointer and belt sanders and routers.
What's a jointer?
A jointer is something that kind of like makes the edge, like this is a board here, like the edge of the board like square.
Oh, okay.
So if you wanted to like put 2 boards together, you'd want to joint them so they're perfectly flat, so that when you do glue them together or biscuit them or join them together, they're not coming apart, right? Yeah. You can't really like bend wood and glue it. It doesn't work super well. So like, yeah, that's the joiner over there. Just kind of like run the board through, and like there's 3 knives that cut it. Sometimes you gotta put it through a bunch. Or
I didn't know that's what it was called, because I actually used that like 2 weeks ago.
Gotcha.
I was just making
it's
both
a plane,
edges.
Some people call it a planer.
Yeah, that's what I knew it as.
Planer joiner.
Okay.
Like, this is a planer, but it's like a thickness planer. So there could be another word for that, like joiner planer or planer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just called it a planer, but I didn't know that was what you considered a joiner. Cool.
Yeah. And then I have my lathe corner over here, which is maybe a little bit unique. Like, you're not going to see it in everyone's garage. So it's like, a lathe like turns stuff around. So whether we're making like bowls or like we made like all the coffee scoops and stuff like that on the lathe, and just different handles and pens and whatever.
Speaking of pens, those skateboard ones that you made, do you have any left?
I don't know if I have any here. I have my personal stuff like over there. I just wanted to show you some examples, but I don't have any in stock this second. But I have a big pile of pen parts. Cool.
I was gonna say I'd buy one off you after this podcast. But
yeah. Christmas as like usual is like pretty crazy for me. Last like couple of years, I've just been doing like the majority of all my like kind of items like sales around Christmas, because it's just the best time to do it. Yep. So kind of pack that into like November, December, and do a bunch of pop-ups and shows and different stuff. And yeah, like usually when it comes down to the new year, I have like nothing left. So that
bad timing.
Yeah. But I am like starting to rebuild a bunch of that stuff, get going again, like in shows and stuff like that, in probably the spring, I guess. Yep. And then just now kind of focused on projects and a bunch of art pieces, and then like keeping all my customers going. Like I do a lot of cutting boards for different customers too.
Cutting boards are so popular.
Yeah. Like that's something, if you would ask me as a trend like 15 years ago, I said, yeah, probably this is a trend, but like 17 years later, I'm still making cutting boards.
Oh, it's insane.
So like I make a lot for real estate agents, and we just got a bunch out to Martel Homes. So they give one every time they build a home, and we got some we just finished for Global Pet Foods. We put custom brands on them too. Like I put my name on there, they want my logo on there.
That's cool.
Then we put the company's logo on, and they give them away. So it's kind of the new thing I got into as opposed to like wholesaling. Yeah. Because wholesaling's like, unfortunately, like for the store, they got to make a profit too, and I understand that. But it's, there's a lot of these people that want to just support you, and the profit margins can be a little bit better. So
I always find when you're working with an individual, it's unique. They do their own work to it, and then there's a connection there between the piece and the person that made it, instead of just buying it from a random factory that's popping out 100 a second. You know what I mean? Yeah, just like, I don't know. Yeah,
100%. There's a huge market for it, and like not everyone gets it, and that's cool. But there's definitely a huge market for all sorts of things. Like I always tell people, like whatever you want to do, like there's a market for it. Like if you want,
and even if it's not right now, like, and you really see a future with it, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. But generally, if it's driven by passion, like there's a market for that. Like unless it's something like completely off the rails, but
just something retarded.
If you want to put your time and effort into it and like put your heart into it, like there's going to be a customer at the end of the line. For sure.
Right. I was just going to say that the past 2 Christmases, I actually got people cutting boards. Like, nice. Not everybody, but just like a couple people or somebody that I knew that bought a home or they're moving away or something. It's like, hey, like, I don't know what it is. And I was explaining to a couple people that something about a kitchen, I just love like a nice thick cutting board in the kitchen. It just, personally for me, I think that's like what stands out in a kitchen. I don't know why, but I always appreciate a nice cutting board.
Yeah. So that you seem like a good customer then.
Yeah. And I want one with skateboard pieces in it.
We'll make it happen. Don't worry.
So I'm going to go grab some of your stuff if that's cool.
Yeah, man. It's just sitting over there. We can come chat about it. You're all dusty.
I'm all dusty?
Yeah.
Where, on the back?
Yeah. Not that bad, but.
Oh, we got a lot of stuff here. I love this table.
Yeah, it's big.
I'm going to contact you and get a table like this built for the podcast studio someday.
There you go, man. Yeah, I made a bunch of cool tables for all kinds of places too. Like I just made a bunch of desks for Uproar Productions, and we did like kind of like this cutting board with like tons of different types of wood and layers. So there's so many ways you can go about it. It doesn't have to always be a slab like this.
Yeah, like live edge.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm kind of wondering is like live edge a trend. You know what I mean too?
Yeah, like, I've seen a lot more, especially with the epoxy or whatever.
Yeah, I tend to like veer away from epoxy just because I'm like the river tables. Like I keep looking for it again. Do you know the sign guy with the cardboard thing?
Yeah.
He has like a one like holding the cardboard sign. He's like, get rid of river tables.
Oh.
Like, or when are they gonna end? Right?
Yeah.
I can't find it again, but I kind of agree with him. Like,
well, people get views off it, right? And then
to me, it's like, it's like, I mean, they say epoxy is like somewhat friendly now, but I don't know. It's just like chemicals you're throwing in the center of this like beautiful walnut. And
like, will it ruin that over time?
Oh, no, I don't think so. The epoxy like dries and cures and hardens.
Okay.
It's just like, I don't think the two go together.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense in your mind to put like a nice bright blue.
No. River.
Yeah.
Down the
between like this piece of wood. I don't know. Yeah.
I would sooner just like fill that with walnut or make it out of wood or something.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like there's people who ask me for epoxy and I'm just like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, that kind of defeats my purpose because I had 2 like art ideas in my mind.
Okay.
And I was like going to ask you kind of like your opinion, and I wanted to do it with epoxy. But anyways, I have these. I bought from a Value Village one time, like this giant playing cards. So like think of a deck of cards, but then just think of them like oversized. They're like this big.
Right.
And there's all 54
so you're
of
holding them like this.
Yeah, like you'd be like this. There's 54 of them. So you could do like a 9x9.
Yeah.
And I wanted to like implement it where like maybe the jokers are only showing, and then make a big frame for it, and then maybe put epoxy so you can kind of see it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just do glass or plastic or whatever you wanted, but I wanted to see your thoughts. And I also want to do.
I have nothing against that, but I just haven't worked with epoxy much.
Yeah.
Really to like be like give a professional opinion on it. Like I've really never used it. But
it's expensive too for the quantity, right?
Yeah.
Or the quantity. Yeah.
Yeah, like to do a river down a table would probably like if you just went out and bought it, it would probably be like $700-800 to do the river.
Yeah,
like
it's so much
for the material.
And you have to like special order it if you want like a tub of it.
Yeah, most of the retailers, like, you can buy it at a specialty hardwood store or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Like, they carry it at London Lumber.
Okay.
Because a lot of people are into it, but other people will put the epoxy on top of wood too. But
yeah,
stuff like that.
So my last name is Jones, and you know Jones Pop.
Yeah.
Jones Soda, I guess. They have the little caps, and under them they actually say like a little saying.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's like inspirational or like one of them just says like wear a cape, and it's just like funny. But I thought it'd be cool to flip all those around where they have the little sayings, and then some of them where it just says like the Jones on it. Yeah. On the top, and just like have them all flipped, like some facing and some flipped, and then just epoxy that and make like a little art piece. Yeah. But I don't know. I was like, well, I'm gonna talk to him about it and see if he. Yeah. Has I have some
epoxy here. You can have it.
Yeah. Just squeeze it all on.
No.
So what's this for? Coffee?
Coffee scoop.
Coffee scoop.
Yeah. More for like put in like if you have a bag of ground coffee, you like put 2-3 scoops in your coffee machine every day, or 2-3 scoops in your French press, and then like a lot of people too like have an espresso machine, so you can like 1 scoop in your espresso and kind of damper with one side. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, true. You could just tap her down.
Tap it in.
Yeah. No, that's wicked.
So yeah, that's just like a combination of walnut and skateboard. I kind of like that combo a lot. Yeah. Like they seem to really go good together. Like all the bright colors with the walnut.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And you got the bottle opener.
Yeah, that's like a stainless steel piece I get. Put some like laminated stuff on either side. Not many people doing like bottle tops anymore with like the microbreweries, which kind of it's kind of cool. But I get the cannon system might be a little bit easier for them.
Yeah. But people that are into it like the whole cracking it open and this I want one of these someday.
Yeah, right with it. Right's pretty good.
Do I just pull it?
No, twist it.
Oh,
twist it, and then you can put you can put that piece on top too to add to like a little bit of weight. Sometimes I like I like the weight feeling of it.
Yeah, it kind of just like balances it out almost in your hand.
Yeah. So. Ink might be kind of low in that one, but
that's all good.
It should be.
Feels good.
Those are the gel rollers.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm just scribbling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Well, I always carry a pen on me. I don't know if you know what Field Notes are, but it's like a
notebook. Yeah.
Notebook company.
Staples notebook. Is it or?
No, it's like Field Notes is a brand from the U.S. Okay. A guy named Aaron Draplin. He's like world famous graphic designer. Okay. Anyways, he makes his own company called Field Notes. It's just all like notepads and stuff. Yeah. So I just like support that company. Anyways, I always have a notepad on me, and a pen just in case if I need to write something down or an idea pops in my head. So I just write it. But I think it'd be so cool if somebody saw this and was like, "Oh, that's a unique pen," and then be like, "Yeah, it's made out of skateboards." Yeah. So, yeah, I like it a lot. So who do you contact to get this all?
The pieces?
Yeah.
There's like some. I think a lot of it comes from a place called Penn State.
Okay.
It's just like
not the university.
No. But it's just like a U.S. company that sells like tons of wood turning supplies. By wood turning, I mean like stuff you can make on the lathe. So you can buy all kinds of like kits for the pens. Like there's dozens of kit options, and they sell other stuff too. Like I don't get the ice cream scoop heads from them, but I get them from another place. But they have tons of stuff you can make on the lathe. I pretty much only get the pens, but you can get other kits.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
This kind of has like a rough look to it. Oh, your brand is sick.
Yeah, that's a bird's eye maple piece.
I'm just going to show that.
Yeah.
Show that off. That's
that one might be, that's a bigger one. I have a couple like the stamps.
I like that. So does that burn on or?
Yeah.
I hope that's getting it.
Yeah, that one might be done the best. But yeah, it like heats up and you brand it in. Like that's the same idea we do for like I have some in the back I can show you later, like for Global Pet Foods or whatever, like that we also order them a brand if they become a customer. Yep. And then it's like, they spend the $200 or whatever on the brand, and then I have that, so whenever they order items off me I can include their brand.
That's cool.
Because I have a drawer full of them now. So for different people I work for. So
right on.
Yeah.
So you're self-employed.
Yep.
How long have you been self-employed?
We've been doing it like I guess since I was 20, so like 17 years.
Wow. And once you go, you don't want to go back, do you?
No, once you like got accustomed to once I got accustomed to the lifestyle and how I could live my life, like being self-employed, like the idea of working for someone was non-existent.
Yep.
Like there was just absolutely no turning around.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't go like super hard at it in my like 20s all the time, but I think that's maybe like a lot of 20-year-olds. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
well, you're still just hanging out with your homeboys.
Yeah.
You're not worried about having a kid. Like,
no.
you just want to have fun. That's all it is.
Exactly. So, but no, I've been taking it a little bit more serious, or a lot more serious the last like several years, and it's been going well.
Yeah, wicked.
So
I wrote down here inspired, which was for me. Like, I just think I watched your day in the life video on your Instagram.
Oh, nice.
And I thought that was really wicked. That I mean, obviously not every day you're going out snowboarding, and every day you're working in the shop. Like, but I just thought, like, overall perspective, you just come in here, you do your work, you're a family man, like taking care of the kid, and you also like to enjoy like outdoor activities. And I was just like, that's a inspiring life. For me, I think that I'm attracted to that. So,
well, I mean, like I said, being able to work for myself and dictate my own schedule is like, that's how it goes. And like,
you can take Tuesday off if you want.
Yeah, I mean, it snowed Monday. Well, yeah, we went to Poli Tuesday morning. We were the first on the lift.
Right. For the powder.
Yeah. But, for me in the fall, especially, I tend to go ham. Like, there's not much going on. The weather's usually crap, like November, December. So I do like a lot of work then. And then try to work as much as I can in the winter, and then, try to work 40, 50 hours a week, but you can kind of move that around a little bit if you want, like whether you start early. I get up pretty early, so that's an advantage, and I'm next to my house, so it's like if I'm up at 5 or 6, I can scoot in here for a few hours and go back in and see everybody, and then that kind of stuff, or work on the weekend if it's raining or crappy out. Or
well, I think it's great because this is just me like thinking of my future. I don't think I'm like most 20-year-olds, but you're self-employed, and I think you're a new father.
Yes.
So like somebody told me that availability is so important as a father, like to be available no matter what in any circumstance. And some careers that's not available,
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends what you strive to be as a father too.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of thinking, like, your son or is it a daughter?
It's a daughter, yeah.
Like she's a daughter.
Yeah.
If she needs you, like, you're able to just bounce.
Well, I mean, today she had to get her vaccines done. We had to go to the doctor at 1:00. It's like, well, yeah, I'm coming.
Right.
Like obviously my wife could have went by herself, but it's like, well, you want my support?
Right.
Like, I'm going to go. I'll be gone an hour. And it's like, I'm in the shop now theoretically working, right? So it's like, it's pretty awesome to be able to have that ability to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think the biggest thing I noted when I had a kid was like, man, the most important thing I have is time. Like, it's the biggest commodity anybody has is time.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not giving it back. You're not getting any younger.
Nope.
The day's going to be what the day's going to be tomorrow. And it's like, the best thing you have is time. So it's like, use that wisely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if I can spend time with my family and adventure and work, it's like,
it's a productive day.
If someone calls me up and wants to go out drinking, like, nowadays on a Wednesday night, it's probably like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Or if someone calls me up and wants to go play softball, I'm probably like, no, that's no fun to me. Like, I'm going to save my time to go mountain biking or do something that's like fun.
Yep.
So you just got to choose what you love and do it.
Stick to it. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't just be a yes man.
True. Yeah. I think I was like that when I was younger. Just like, even if I didn't really enjoy it, everybody else was doing it. So I might as well just hop on the train and just go at it, whether it was video games or even if it was basketball. Like, it was like, I don't know. Those aren't things I hate, but it's just an example.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes, being a father, I think in the back of in my heart and the back of my mind, it's just like I inspired to be an available father at all times. And like, I don't know. It's just, that gets me excited. Yeah. Just as a young kid, I don't know why.
Do you want to be a father?
Oh, absolutely.
Nice.
I don't think there's a better gift in the world than to raise somebody.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable experience. Like, when it comes.
And you had a daughter too. I heard that's like. I think as a man, like a father having a daughter, it's like, you need to do everything you can for her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know what your experience was, but it was just like with a son, it's like, all right, like I don't know. There's not as much of a...
Yeah, there definitely is more of a... I mean, maybe, I don't know, because I don't have a son.
I don't know either.
I don't have a son, I just have a daughter. But, I think regardless, I'd feel super like protective and want to do anything for them. But yeah, daughter is definitely that next level where it's like, you're never going to have a boyfriend. Like,
yeah.
It's like, well.
You mean you got to grow up and get old?
Yeah.
And get away from me? I don't think so.
But yeah, they grow quick. Like she started walking a couple weeks ago and it's just like, you know, now we have her on a snowboard and she's running around and it's like, it's just insane how like fast things progress. So it's like back to my notion of like, time's important. Like you got to take it in, and because it's that day's going to be gone. Like this day's going to be gone. Seriously. You know. So I
was thinking the other day in the car, I was just like, no matter how much time you spend with someone, you always wish you could spend more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair.
Like you could spend every single day with your daughter, and by the time it was over for you, like you're still going to be like, you know, I wish I still spent a little more time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why you just got to take advantage of the time you have. And
yeah, like my wife's going back to work in 2 weeks, I guess, and she's starting to be like, oh, like I can't spend every day with Winter. Like I have to work too. Like she obviously wants to work. She really likes working and being in that atmosphere, but you know, she's realizing like I can't be here every day, like all day. Like so she's kind of like panicking now and like trying to get every moment in. But
mother instincts coming in.
Not that she's been with her every second, like
the
whole time, but she's she's going back to work soon, so it'll be a bit of a change for all of us. But
yeah, that's exciting stuff though.
Yeah,
I think it's really cool. I watched you do some yoga. You a big yoga guy?
Yeah,
in the morning.
Sometimes in the morning. My thing is I like to get into the hot yoga studio. So I've been going to Pure Vita since they opened, which is like, it's at least 10 years. They might, I don't know, maybe at least 10 years. But I like going to the hot studio. It's super, like, it's time to yourself for one. It's like just your own mind, your own time, like no phones, there's nothing coming in, like there's no distractions. So you get that like kind of hour to like kind of control your thoughts and like hopefully try to think about nothing is the goal, right? Yeah. But and then also like it's super good for like I'm always on my feet working with heavy stuff, or I'm always doing some adventure or snowboarding or hiking or biking, and it's just like it's balance, right? Like it really balances everything out, and it's where I met Nat, my wife. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. And soon your daughter's going to be in there stretching away.
Yeah. She's been in there a few times, but
just running.
Yeah, can't go in a hot class at 1 year old. So
yeah. So hot class, like the whole room is how big of a room? It must be.
It's pretty big. Like, I mean, I don't know how many people now. Like pre-pandemic, we used to do like 34 people. So it was like you jammed in there. They haven't quite still came back to those numbers, but I think it's like 24, 25.
Okay. And how hot are you getting these rooms?
They get up to 104. And I think they're usually running around like 95, 97, something like that. Wow. So it gets pretty hot.
So what's the benefit between like regular yoga and then hot yoga? Like,
well, the main difference for me is the hot like kind of like heats up your muscles a little bit, so it allows you to go stretch a little bit further. And just I don't know, you sweat a lot more, that's for sure. Yeah. But yeah, the hot for me, it just loosens up your muscles like that extra bit, right? So it's just like you're gonna put in the time to do it. It's like, well, let's get sweaty. Right.
Somebody told me one time that if you stretch, that you're not supposed to be sore. Like humans aren't supposed to get sore. And I don't know how true that is. It's just somebody that told me that.
Well, I think, no.
It's just
I wouldn't agree to that because.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I think if you're like hovering around your limits, like you're gonna get sore. So like if you're in like zone 2 and like you're keeping your heart rate super low all the time, and you're like not pushing yourself, like I don't think you'll get sore. Yeah. Like or you know what I mean? But yeah. I think when you're pushing yourself like in anything, like if you're going beyond what you've never done, like if you're not sore, it's like, well, I don't know. Yeah. You really push that hard?
Yeah, I know.
But I think maybe there's an argument to that for sure.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I wish I could remember what he meant by that. But he just said, like, do you think, like, gazelles, for an example, like, do you think they get sore from doing all their daily activities? And it's like humans shouldn't be sore. But I will say this. When I stretch every day, I don't get sore after, like, exercises or anything, especially if I stretch, like, twice a day, like in the morning and night. Like, I don't get sore.
Oh,
Even if I slam myself on the ground from snowboarding, for example,
yeah.
like it's just, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think it helps you perform like tasks better.
Right.
Like, and it helps you recover better. And like, I get sore if I do something like I said, if I'm like really pushing my personal limits, like I'll get sore, but it's like I go out and do stuff that's like pretty intense to a normal person and I don't get sore. But I think it's because I maintain that like yoga balance and I keep it up with like my activities and stuff. And, you know, on crappy days like today, I jumped on my bike trainer in the basement for 20 minutes at lunch and hammered out 10 kilometers.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think you got to keep up with, you know, your activity too and stuff like that.
I went to Sunday River the other day, or a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
And
I've never been there.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's a little more family oriented of a mountain.
We always do Sugarloaf.
Yeah, I heard that's a better for like more experienced riders, I guess, if you're really looking for good riding. I had a friend that wasn't like super keen on like more demanding trails, if that makes sense.
Right.
So we went to Sunday River, excellent spot. But after like a full day of riding, I felt like if I wasn't going to do anything, I was going to get really sore.
Mm-hmm.
So I hopped on the bike for the first time ever. I've never sat on like a stationary bike before and I ended up doing 20 miles.
Nice.
That night for like, I don't know, almost 2 hours, hour and a half probably. I don't know how well that is for timing but anyways, did that. And then the next day I was like loose and I felt good. I don't know why, like if I kept moving. But anyways, my friend, he was like rate sore because he didn't do it. He just went like to bed or something. But I felt, I don't know, I just kept moving. And then that night I was just like, all right.
Yeah, it's like active recovery, right?
Right. Just like, I don't know.
A lot of days too, like if I'm super sore, like from whatever, it's like, well, I can't just lie here because I'm going to get sore. So it's like, if I just like kick my ass biking or something the day before and we did 1,000 meters climbing, it's like, well, I'll probably be a bit sore the next day, but I'll just go for a walk or go for like an easy bike. Or
I just feel like when you like do something hard and then you rest, it's just time for like that rust to build up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like the lactic acid gets built up.
Right. And it's just like sitting there.
I mean, I don't really think like you should have many rest days. Like time's valuable to me, right? So it's like I'm gonna rest like when my body's like in resting state.
Yeah, like sleeping.
Sleeping or dead.
Yeah, seriously.
Like when I get up, like I want to do stuff. Like I'm not a fan of like TV or like sitting around bars and like that kind of stuff. Like I'd rather be doing something.
Yeah. So no, I agree.
Whether it's building something or adventuring, like.
Well, I just remember in high school when friends would just kind of like want to go to the house and just like, I don't know, sit around and talk in the living room or something, or maybe go drink or smoke weed or whatever. And it was just like if we're gonna do that, like let's go do stuff. Like I don't want to sit in a car or sit in a living room or sit in a kitchen. Like I want to go, I don't know, go for a ride. Like what you said, go mountain bike, go ride the streets, go for a trail run. I don't know, anything.
I think I've like came to terms that like that's most people. So it's like most people are like not up to that much physical activity, and like especially like when you get 30 and beyond, like and there's not many people who are like up to that much physical activity. But what I've found at the start of the pandemic is I've made a lot of friends in the pandemic, especially that are like into physical activity, and like we all hang out together now and we do stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like this whole gang of like new friendships that kind of happened in the pandemic. Like you interviewed John McNair a couple weeks ago, met him in the start of the pandemic, and now it's like always going on these ridiculous gravel bikes, or he jumps on the chairlift us the other day, and we ripped 3 or 4 runs at Poli. Or there's just a big gang of guys that are up for stuff that I started hanging out with, and like so you got to surround yourself with people who are doing stuff that you want to be doing.
Right.
You can't be like, oh, I want to like be active and live an active lifestyle, and all your friends
don't
play Nintendo.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, well, it's not that fun to like, I go for bikes and stuff on my own all the time, but it's like it's not that fun if that's the core around what you're doing. So it's like if you can surround yourself with people who are like-minded about like how they want to live, how they want to raise their children, how you want to be active, it's like you're more prone to be like that.
And I think whoever you are as a person, or strive to be, you'll attract similar minded people in that same way.
100%.
Like somehow the universe works in your favor.
Yeah.
And a friend will pop up and it's like, hey, I just resonate with you.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but you attract them somehow.
There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, the solo sports I'm a big fan of. And then
Yep.
when you have another person that gravitates towards mountain biking or towards running or whatever it is, it's like a plus. It's like the solo sport, but a bonus, I guess, with it. It just makes it 10 times better.
Yeah. Yeah, like the start of the pandemic, I went biking with a bunch of people, and then there was another guy, Mike, in the group, and we were a little bit ahead of everyone else. And then I was like, everyone was gassed after 5K, and then Mike and I kept biking all night. And then we're like, hey, you want to bike next week? And then 3 years later,
Yeah.
we bike every single week together, and we try to do 1,000 meters every Wednesday climbing.
Right on.
And it's like, all of a sudden you get a new buddy. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just back to like surround yourself with like-minded people. It's like, you never know where you'll meet people. Like, met this guy in the middle of the woods in White Rock, and
Yeah.
now we mountain bike every single week together and snowboard and do all kinds of like-minded activities.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, you got to find your people, you know what
Right.
I mean?
I mean, takes time, right? Some people are going to struggle for their whole life trying to find the right people.
Of course.
Yeah, but your time will come. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You watching, your time will come. Yeah, I don't know. A little deep of a topic, but
Yeah.
that's all right.
Yeah. It's all good. How's the beer?
I like it.
Yeah.
Parts and Labor, Tire Shack. Where are they located? Close by?
They used to be the Tire Shack, so it's on, I think, John Street.
Okay.
Yeah, and they just tore down the building beside them, and they're doing like a massive expansion.
Right on.
They won a bunch of awards this year, like the Canadian brewers and stuff. So
Cool.
they got a pretty serious brewer, and they got a good system and some awesome tables and tap handles.
Sweet. So, do you know what it takes for like a company like to get their beer out into? Well, I guess it all depends what they want. Some people don't want to distribute out to the world, like mass produce, I guess, but. Do you know what it would take to get stuff like that out to, I don't know.
A brewery?
Yeah.
I mean, out to like liquor stores and stuff?
Yeah, like out farther.
I don't really know the logistics behind a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. We have Sussex Ale in our town.
Right, yeah. I've been there a bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good spot. Nice spot to stop by. And then you got outdoor, which is right there. Then you buy a new snowboard, and then you question why you did that because you...
All those things have happened to me this year, so...
Yeah. Yeah, the Jones boards are sick, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so nice. Yeah, I always wanted a Jones board, but I always wanted a Solomon.
Okay.
But I got the Solomon because I wanted to do something a little more parky and fun.
Exactly, yeah.
But my next board will be like a mountain.
Yeah.
Like ripping through trees and like just powder and I don't know, just carves and stuff.
That's what I get up to, rip through trees, powder, drops, whatever.
I feel like that comes with age.
Yeah, maybe.
Like you don't want to slam your body off some jumps probably as much.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you're I don't know what you're into, you know?
I'm into riding, like more like free riding, I guess. I'll definitely hit some stuff.
Like natural rails.
Yeah. I don't need to be like, if I ride by a rail or a jump or anything around, I'll hit it. But, I'm like seeking out like chic shot type adventures or split boarding or like if it's a POW day, we're going out or those kind of days.
Yeah. There's actually a guy that I was supposed to record with tomorrow. He's from like across seas. I don't know exactly where he's at, but he owns his own snowboard company called Moonchild.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of them.
Never, no.
Pretty big. I saw one at Poley Mountain.
Okay.
And I saw 3 at Sunday River.
Nice.
I happened to notice, like I kind of looked at the board, seeing it. But there's like 3 people that I saw.
There's so many niche like snowboard companies out there now too.
I know.
I want to make some POW decks too. Is my or POW surfers. Yeah. Is one of my next projects.
With no bindings, right? It's just
the
no
boards. Bindings, just the boards. Like
I know some people that'd be interested in that.
Kind of get some like vacuum seals, something. You got to come up with a mold and stuff like that, and do like mixed wood top sheet. And
do you know what goes into surfboards?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, is any of that wood? Like, how much? No surfboard's really made out of wood anymore, is it?
No, I mean surfboards are made out of foam. There's a wood stringer.
Yeah.
But they're shaped with like a hand, which I have, like an electric hand planer. It's more just like a specific one for foam. But most of them are like shaped. You know, you put a wood stringer in and laminate 2 foam pieces, shape it, and then put fiberglass over it, right?
Yep.
And then sand and shape it again. And
Yeah.
so it's kind of like woodwork, I guess, but it's more, it's really dusty, messy, even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was reading the book by Yvon Chouinard, the Patagonia owner.
Okay, yeah.
Let My People Go Surfing, that's the name of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And his son builds snow or surfboards, and basically his goal, or what he was telling his son, was like, his son wanted to make surfboards that were like the professionals and like all the good ones, but then Yvon was like, no, their surfboards snap all the time. Do you think that's a good surfboard?
Yeah.
And then I think he figured out a way that like his board will last forever. Like it won't snap. And it's like perfect quality, like back to the world or back to the earth, I guess.
What's it made out of?
I have no idea. It didn't really go into like the materials of it or anything. Not too much, I don't think.
Yeah.
But you could definitely look up his company and probably figure it out.
Yeah,
so.
Cool.
But I don't know. So my brother was surfing, and a guy like went to cut across him, and his blade actually went through his nose of his surfboard.
Oh, no way. That happened to me in Indonesia one time, actually. The exact same thing.
That's so scary.
Yeah, it was so scary.
Yeah.
The board was just... Actually, I got the board repaired. They rode across my board, some girl, and I got it repaired.
It's a scary feeling out on the waves.
Yeah.
Like people are fighting for waves, and then if you cut them off, they get all mad. But it's like hard because, you're just riding the wave.
It's definitely a tricky set of all the board sports I've tried. Like, it's the trickiest one to like get into because there's so many logistics to deal with.
Yeah.
And then,
weather's your primary issue. And then if you get good weather, how many waves can you catch in the span of like a 3-hour session?
Yeah.
Right? And then you're like, your stamina's dead from starting, and then you got to almost work up. Like you got to go surfing like a couple times a week to start building up where you can go out and ride for 5 hours without getting like drained.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I mean, where we live, there's not a lot of opportunity, and unless you're wearing like super big wetsuits and you're traveling in Nova Scotia. But
yeah, the only place in New Brunswick I think is St. John.
Yeah,
Mispec Beach, I think it is.
Yeah, I went there once before.
Yeah, in the winter, or
it was in like October.
Okay.
I boarded a board and I went with a friend who was like into it.
Cool.
We went to another place that was like overlooking. It was before Mispec, I think, in a bay.
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, it was like overlooking some gnarly, like looked like Homer Simpson factory in St. John there. The refinery. The refinery.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went there. It was weird.
Surfing's crazy. I will say that's one of the hardest sports.
Oh yeah.
It is difficult. But again, like you said, I don't know, you're not getting like I went out one time and I think I only was able to get a chance at like 20 waves in total. Yeah. And I might have been able to catch like 7 of them. You know what I mean? So basically I only had 7 tries my first time.
Where'd you go?
Martok?
Oh, Martok's
no, Martok's a ski resort. Yeah.
Martinique,
yeah. It's like Lawrencetown,
Yeah.
and then like 20 minutes down the road, it's
Yeah.
Martinique, and that's like where the beginners are. Lawrencetown is like more experienced riders, and then I think it's better surfing in
I
Lawrencetown.
think it just depends on the day. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
My brother's a pretty big surfer.
Okay.
Like he loves surfing, but yeah, difficult sport.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
Sweet.
Snowboarding's cool though.
Yeah.
I want everybody to get into snowboarding.
Yeah, that's my jam for sure.
Mm.
It is cold though. I got frostbite last week. Not last week. 3 weeks ago.
How'd you manage that?
My wife calls my thumb a penis thumb now.
Yeah, the foreskin's a little peeled back. Oh yeah, get that right in the camera.
We were in the Shiksha, and it was just, I have like super bad circulation in my hands, and it was -18 when we left, and then we climbed up to around 1,000 meters. So
wow,
just was like screwing out with my GoPro too much, and
yep.
It was the last day, and I got in my truck and was driving, and it was like, oh.
Well, it goes numb, right? And then you don't feel anything.
Yeah, you don't feel anything.
Whatever.
So it's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Yeah. One thing I'm happy that you're doing is you're teaching your daughter how to snowboard.
Yeah.
And I was actually telling my girlfriend, I said, hey, like the one thing I'm bringing up my kids, if that's in the future, is I'm teaching my kids how to snowboard. Like,
I mean, for us right now, it's like, or for me, it's like, well, we know she's not like going up the chairlift at 1 year old and like snowboarding, but it's more like getting used to the helmet, getting used to the goggles, getting used to the gear. Like we have the smallest possible board you can find, and we can't even find a boot or a foot or feet still like come out of it. But it's like, it's just getting used to like everything and getting the normality. So it's like, well, when we're ready to go, we're going to be ready to go.
Right. Like when she's 3, she's just like, oh, I've done this before.
Yeah.
Like this is normal. So
I mean, maybe she'll be like her mom and want to ski, but let's hope not.
Yeah, seriously. We need more boarders. But that is a growing community. Snowboarding's growing fast. It's huge.
I feel like a lot of the OGs are like coming back and like making a comeback, and it's more like, it's not about like spin to win anymore. It's like, let's ride to have fun. Let's split board, let's adventure, let's seek POW. Like it's about even the way the contests are changing, and like I have like tons of friends who kind of like reconnected with through snowboarding, and it's pretty sweet. We're going to Amqui next weekend, so I'm hyped for that.
Right on. That's Quebec?
Yeah.
Is that the closest spot to New Brunswick?
For Val d'Aran. Well, the ski hill's called Val d'Aran. It's outside Amqui.
Oh, okay.
It's like 6 hours.
It's not bad.
It's not much further. Like, we're going to Epic Summit February 14th in Murdochville. I don't know, not February 14th, but it's around that time.
That's Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I know.
I think Super Bowl's on Valentine's Day too.
And that's like 5 or 6 hours away. That's in the Chickshaws, so.
Okay.
But.
Right on.
Yeah.
I put experience, but I don't know what I meant by that.
In woodworking?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that was.
Yeah, like I guess I can talk on that a little bit if you want, like, or that aspect. Like, I'm pretty much kind of self-taught with most of like what I do. My dad had like a lot of these tools growing up, just like coincidentally in the basement. So I was always like farting around with them, and like I had a skimboard company when I was in high school, so we made a lot of skimboards and like just got used to using the tools. And then school and stuff like that didn't really work out for me. I went to STU for a year and just wasn't jamming with like the university
lifestyle
type approach. So yeah, I just started like selling cutting boards at the market, and when I was like 19, 20, and just kept like one-upping myself every year and kept going at it. And yeah, just teaching myself stuff or asking my dad questions or just trial and error. Then parents moved to Halifax like 10, 12 years ago, and then started renting shops. And then I had a shop that burnt down, and then lost all my stuff. And then kind of the community came together and a few other like means, and got this shop going like 7-8 years ago, and it's next to my house. So
that's sweet.
But yeah, it's been a journey for sure.
Yeah.
And
I was just gonna say, what's the goal to keeping a shop clean? I mean, I guess you just have a lot of stuff in here, but I've never seen a workshop like able to like keep it clean, because there's just sawdust everywhere.
Yeah, it makes a lot of mess for sure.
Like I think it's fairly clean in here.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But I don't know.
My father-in-law helps in the shop, and my dad help in the shop a lot. My father-in-law helps me clean up a bit, so that's nice. Like, I hate cleaning. It's like I hate it, but it's a necessary evil. It's not. Yeah, it's a good mess in here for sure, but not bad.
Yeah,
I cleaned up a bit for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I feel important.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
It's the same for a metal shop, right? Like you're getting wood chip or metal chips everywhere. It's metal dusting.
It's nonstop.
Just crazy. Do you work with metal much at all, or?
A little bit, but like I said, most of the time I have metal work. I go to my neighbor who has like a shop like 20 feet.
Cool.
So we just do metal there. And but for the most part, most of my projects are like related around wood. Like it's kind of the medium for sure.
Yeah. I worked with Irving for a year or so, and they were cleaning out one of their sheds, and it just had like tons of old stuff that they didn't use. And I got probably like 20 feet, like 1 by 1 metal tubes, like 20-foot lengths of them, and probably like 20 of them.
Yeah.
And I got them all for free, galvanized steel, and that's what like inspired us to do the tables and stuff and try to work with it, because we didn't have to price out metal. It was just some wood, and that's it. And it was nice, but we just didn't continue. I guess I could show you what we built.
Sweet.
It'd be kind of cool.
I feel like I might have seen them before, but I've never actually been in Piccadilly Coffee.
No, we didn't end up building for Piccadilly Coffee.
Oh,
they were just interested. Like they saw what we did, and they were just like, "Oh, this would be gnarly." And I'm really good friend. This episode is sponsored by Piccadilly Coffee, so
sweet.
It's just But I'll show you here. Pretty neat. I mean,
so you live in Sussex?
Yeah, right in town.
Nice. Whole life there?
Sorry?
You lived there your whole life?
Yeah, I was That's it right there.
Oh yeah, nice.
So we built 2 of those.
Yeah, cool.
2 of those benches and then the table.
Sweet.
Pretty awesome stuff. It was really fun to do.
Yeah, I bet.
It took us a while because like we didn't know what to expect. We were just kind of going with the flow. Like, how do we want the legs? How do we want the framing? Do we want it all live edge? Do we want it metal all around? I don't know.
There's so many decisions to make. Like,
I know.
when it comes to like a table, like you can go so many directions. Like,
right.
It's like it's not something that's like it's nothing that needs a plan, like a pre like established plan. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's, as long as it's sturdy and you can fit the chairs around it, and there's a million ways to do a base or legs or stain it or finishes. Like the list goes on.
Yeah, it's nice because you can just kind of go with it. Yeah. Just like as you're piecing it together. Yeah. And you're like, do I like that? Do I not? Take it away. Put something new. Whatever. Yeah. 100%. Forget where I was gonna go with that. I had something to, I don't know, say. I hate when I lose my train of thought. It's brutal.
Happens to the best of us.
Another question I was thinking about was, do you film some of your work? Do you film?
Sometimes, yeah. I like
processing and
most of what I film now is through like my iPhone or whatever. It's just like but sometimes like I will get like photographers or videographers to help me out or whatever. Like right now I'm doing this piece for my buddy Matt B, who owns an Airbnb, and he's also a photographer. He like runs Outdoor Elements' page now and does a few other things like that, like Acadia Toyota. So he's been following me around, like build this piece. So he's dropped by like 2 or 3 times, photographed it, and then we're gonna photograph it tomorrow, like as we hang it up. Right on. So we'll have the process, like the whole process. So sometimes like that I try to get someone else to do it, but I do. Yeah.
I just think it's a great opportunity to film for yourself, because I feel you could just take a camera or your phone, have a tripod for it, and just set it up. And because I don't know how much time on a time budget you are, but like it wouldn't take much to be like, all right, I'm doing this next, set my phone up, all right, grab all my stuff, go for it, hit record for a sec, do a couple swipes, hit unrecord, and then keep going at your work. And then at the end of the day, maybe you only have 10 clips. Yeah. But it's like, what could I kind of make up here, and then just put it out, and just it might just be an extra little piece that you're like, it's nice to just have that extra I don't know, piece of content to throw out there.
Content is key. Like obviously I like I said, I advertise on Instagram pretty much solely. Like it's free, it's creative, it's kind of fun. So it's like I do that, but I know video is like a big aspect now, so I'm trying to do more videos. I posted you always like post photos. So it's.
But I just think this is an awesome spot to start that up. I don't know. It just the whole process, and I don't know. It's whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, if you don't want to talk to the camera, you don't have to. If you want to, then go for it. I just feel like you have a lot you could do on like the social media side of stuff. I've never saw your social media to be like, I know exactly what your plan is or anything. I just kind of like looked at it. I was like, oh, like I wonder if he's doing a lot of filming. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, I'm not doing a lot of filming really. Like aside from just like the little bit clips you saw from Uproar and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But in terms of like personal filming and like making content, like just for fun and like about what I do, like I guess mostly just do photos. But I have been thinking about that aspect about what you're saying. It's like it's where the attention is right now, and it's like. It's a little bit nervous, right? To sometimes like speak into the camera. Right. So it's like, even stuff like this, like just talking is like sometimes a little bit nervous, but so appreciate you coming in today for sure.
Yeah, that's no problem. Rad. I would like, before that camera dies, I would like to show off this, if we could like set it up here and kind of just like. Boom. There it is. Yeah. There's the piece. We should have just anchored this down.
We should have.
Just like made that the background. Time. That would have been wicked.
Yeah, I try to like, you can see I try to like put back like, this guy and like this would have been like the same board, right? But like, take pieces, put some back together, and like this was like a Mona Lisa like thing on a Madness skateboard, so I like have her face there but put that guy in.
Yeah, and I like that swirl, like that connects together.
Yeah. Just do random, kind of keep it interesting, you know what I mean? Like,
no, it's really unique.
The idea
and then this one just doesn't match with anything.
No. The idea is to kind of like provoke thought, you know what I mean? And just be like, what, you know, and create conversation and like,
right.
Be like, what is that? What's going on there?
Yeah.
What's the purpose? And
I love it.
There is no purpose really, but.
So the art that I was telling you about, I was thinking the exact same thing, like a frame like this,
right.
And then sink it in.
Yeah.
And then have this as like, think of this as like a plain white background or a plain black background, and then just putting those little bottle caps all over the place, or the big cards.
Yeah.
But the big cards would be a massive piece. But then I just would want to put epoxy like over it, maybe flat. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't want this thick of a frame, obviously.
Okay. Is it for a table?
No, I just want like a wall piece, but I don't know. It might just be better to put glass over it, wouldn't it?
Maybe. I mean, you don't need, why put anything over it?
True. Didn't even think about that. Like kind of like this.
Yeah, like this is oiled. Like, so like each piece I kind of like sand a little bit, or sometimes like you sand out different stuff, or like you can see how I kind of like sanded that to make it look like a square. Mm-hmm. But I just oil it.
Okay.
Like just do a natural oil and then oil the frame up. But
sure.
Sometimes less is better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And it's like you could touch it if you wanted.
Yeah.
Like I don't care if I'm not against going in a museum and touching the piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that's such a gnarly piece.
Yeah, pumped to hang it tomorrow. So, yeah, last year I did probably like 15 of these.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what a cool way to use skateboards.
Yeah. And I can use a lot of the nose and the tails in this one too, like in different ways. And
yeah. And I like that. Well, like some of them stick out farther than the other.
Yeah.
It's that mosaic style.
Yeah.
I love it.
There's a few more aspects of it I want to try out this year, but always experimenting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What were you kind of thinking? Could you do a swirl with these?
You
could do a square.
I want to like put the decks in, but in like full form. So like cut them out, but like have the whole deck there, but them all mosaic together.
Oh, yeah.
But you got to cut them in a certain way to like flatten them out kind of, the whole deck. So
I know what you mean.
It's in works.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I know exactly what you mean though. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
And just like, you could just take that corner piece and put it on this side so it's all mismatched. Is that what you mean too? Or
yeah, kind of. But like if the deck, you know what I mean? Like that board would be in full, right?
Yeah.
And then like this one might be half that. Like,
oh, okay.
Explain, but there'd be a lot of like full skateboards
in
there.
Yeah.
Shape of the board, right?
Yeah.
And then but like a mosaic palette of those.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was expecting like, say you had this full thing and you had a full skateboard, right? Just one skateboard, but you pieced it all, and then you took the pieces from that skateboard and put like some over there and some over here, and you knew it was all from like the same green skateboard, but just all the different pieces kind of made the shape of the skateboard. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So I don't know. That's what I thought, but I like your idea. I really like that.
But yeah, there's lots of ideas with it, so you never know. Sometimes I do it like I put wood, like mix. I do this same thing with hardwood too, right? So it could be like 15, 20 types of wood.
True.
Right, I've done a lot of those, or sometimes I put like some graphic, and some of the like, sometimes I put a bunch of like these colors in. I just did one for my sister's friend in Halifax, and he's like, hey, love the skateboard wall that you're doing. Want you to make one. The only thing I want you to do is make a gay pride theme. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, let's do something.
Yeah.
So I just like took all the colors of the skateboard and did a huge rainbow.
Yeah.
I just like made all these crazy graphics, but like through the thing had a big rainbow with like all the most vibrant colors I could find.
Neat.
So I was like,
yeah, that's
that
cool.
Works.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. So
I saw a comedian one time, and I think they were on a podcast, and they're like, or maybe it was a bit for on a comedy special or something, and it was like, why do gay people get the whole rainbow? Like, you know what I mean? Countries only have two colors, and it's like the gay pride gets like the whole thing.
Rainbow.
Yeah, they get everything. It's kind of unfair, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Let's start a parade.
Yeah. I do love this though.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I really do. All right, everybody, you can order a piece. I don't know if they can order that, but
yeah, you can. Just hit me up, Jon D Black, Instagram.
And it's most stuff that people like would order from you is just kind of what their take would be on a certain thing. Like, hey, I kind of want this, and then you.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, usually it's like, hey, I want a table. Like it's. I mean, sometimes like I usually like to have a conversation with them. Whether it's ideally if it's a big project, I'd like to meet up. Mm-hmm. I got one I'm working on Halifax. The guy, it's like, well, we haven't met up, but we've talked on the phone and emailed a bunch, and but just figure out their general. We want a table this size and this style. and whatever, then just continue the conversation and see what they're feeling out and see what woods we can get. And, or, you know, I've made lots of wall art for people and they're just like, bring me to the space, right? It's
right.
like, if someone wants a piece of art, it's like, well, let's just go visit the space. If you want a piece of art, or send me some photos, or let's go see your house or office or space. And they're like, I love it when someone's like, this is the wall we want something sick on.
Yeah.
And what can you do? And
yeah.
Like, well, what kind of budget do you have? What do you think of this? And they're like, yeah. You know, a lot of times people are just like, you do you.
Yep.
That's ideal. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Just make it how you want it.
And, you know, sometimes people are, if people are super specific and come to me with like this Pinterest items and they have all these dimensions down to the T and their own idea of how things are, it doesn't always line up with me. And I'm like, well, I might not be the guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm not the guy for your project, but if people are like, you know, want to have a conversation and like my style of work and whatever, and we can make it work, then it works. Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure, I find, if somebody says like, just you do it. It's just like, well, I don't know if they'll like this or not.
Yeah. For me, it's like, I like that pressure a little bit more, is like, you do it, as opposed to like, you do this. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. There's a little bit of both.
Like, once I've established a confidence in like, I can create something awesome. Okay. I mean, I got that covered. But can I create what you envision? Probably not. Like, if you envision something, it's not going to be what I envision.
Right.
So it's like, it's just better to find trust in a client, more or less.
Yep.
And be like, we want something that's unique.
Yeah.
We want something one-off. We want something different.
And that's an advantage to an artist, right?
Yeah.
It's your take.
Yeah.
It's how you kind of build stuff and create stuff.
And now I have a bit of a, you know, where it's like, you like wall art, you can go to all these places and view them. You want to see my table, go to Fox Creek, go to Pomodori, go to Tire Shack, go to Epoch, go to Five Bridges, Dieppe, go to
go to random people's
homes. Pump House. You know, if you're friends with this guy, go there. Yeah. But, you know, there's a lot of tables and things I've done in public spaces that people get to see, which is, I find, a pretty nice advantage, because they get to see how they age too. Because sometimes I can be like, well, that table's been there for 10 years, 12 years, or whatever.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of views like that. So it's a pretty awesome way to advertise them, because like, I can't take a picture, I can't take a video that's going to duplicate what the natural eye is going to see. You know, it's like a lot of situations. Like, you're in the mountains, it's like, no way can you take a photo and send that to someone and be like, this is what you really saw. Right. Because, and I find the same thing with the wood, because it's such a, you know, the touch and the feel and the texture. It's like, well, that's important. So it's like,
the smell sometimes too, right?
Yeah. Or just like how it feels, or the, you know, wood has an energy, right? So it's like, if you can go physically see something, it's like, that's pretty sweet. Yeah. So it's like, I have, you know, to have stuff in public places, or people see my boards all the time, or just different stuff. It's nice that a lot of people can view it. Yeah.
The best way to explain is like, a sunset on a photo is never as good as a sunset in person. No. Right? Yeah, 100%. Like, it's just this beautiful thing, and then you're like, look at the sunset, and you're just like, well, it's nice, but it's just, you're not there.
Yeah. That's why I love doing pop-up shows too in the fall. Like, I just make as much stuff as I can. That kind of what inspires me, and it's like, come on down. Like, come down. You know, it's old school in essence, where it's like a lot of people like are online and stuff, but it's like, I don't know. For now, I'm going to keep doing the pop-ups every fall, because it's I like the style. It's like, this is what I made, and this is what's available now. And it's like,
yeah, it's here for the taking. So
and it's like, I know I can't take pictures and give the same representation of the item like through a computer as it physically is, right? Like, I can't take a photo of this and send it to you as opposed to you seeing it. So it's like, I find sales are better when people come and touch stuff. They're like, oh, like,
love the feel.
Oh, I love the feel. Yeah, I actually am going to get one for myself and one for my daughter. And
and you can really imagine like how you're going to implement that into your space.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I need exactly this to hang on this thing, and it's perfect size or whatever.
So that my pop-ups, I try to make tons of like stuff, and then that always just like spirals into like, you know, a couple people buying stuff and then wanting a table or wall art or whatever else comes around.
Yeah. My favorite art is skateboard art. my favorite art piece ever is a skateboard art piece.
Okay.
And it's with the Campbell soup on it.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen
You've
that.
probably seen it. It's a 3-piece.
Okay.
They have tons of different styles of it, but I just saw the Campbell soup. You can buy them individual skateboards, but I saw a 3-piece one, and then I saw it in person at in New York one day.
Nice.
And I was like, I can't believe, like, I was shocked that I was actually like looking at a legit one. I mean, you can buy them online anywhere, probably, but I just saw one. I was like that's the one art piece that I really like looked at, and I was like, I'm gonna have that one day, because it's just, I don't know, I've never really seen an art piece where, you know, I was fully gravitated towards it. It was just that one, though, just spoke to me. Yeah,
I got a board once. It was, and I realized I made it into wall art, and I realized after it was like a collector's deck. It was like a Larry Bird.
Right on.
It was like this, and the way the board had been written, it like it's kind of scratched out like Larry Bird's like lower back, no big deal, but it had like his graphic and like it was a full board of Larry Bird. So I made it into wall art, and it sold right away to a buddy of mine who owns Rinsler's Meat Market.
Cool.
And but it got asked by like dozens of people to buy it.
Oh, I believe
dozens of people. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll just buy another Larry Bird deck and skate it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find it. I could not find it. It was like a collector's piece. So I was like, oh well, it's just how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. And then when I mentioned that to John, he mentioned you. And
nice.
That's how I got in contact. So I was like, I love this skateboard art. I love it. And then
I heard that in the podcast. I was like, oh, that's how he linked me up.
Yeah. And then he's like, Jon Black, he does like skateboard stuff. And I was like, sure, I'll hit him up. So
there you go.
I'm glad it worked out. Anyways, I think we can come to an end now.
Yeah. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, we can wrap up in 1 minute.
Cool.
Is that cool?
Yeah, man.
Where can they find you?
I mostly promote myself on my Instagram page, Jon D Black.
Yep.
Or Facebook, Jon D Black, or it's just Jon Black on Facebook.
Cool.
I don't have a web page, but I might one day.
So how can they contact you for business if they're interested?
Mostly just send me a DM or like an email.
Cool.
Something like that. I'm pretty low key. Like lately I've been staying pretty busy, so I just try to like keep it to that and then like do as much as I can, and then I want to keep room for like creative freedom just to like make projects and put them out there and sell them.
Yep.
I usually do a few like art drops a year at Epoch Chemistry, and a bunch of pop-ups in the fall will be happening, and that's about it. And then I just people get a hold of me, track me down, and we make some custom projects or work for different businesses, or if you want to get boards or something, like going for your company as giveaways, like
I like that collaboration that you do.
Yeah,
it's nice because I don't know, it just brings community.
Yeah,
and then get your name out there. And
it's all